Have you ever felt like your mind just won't stop? Even when your body's still, your thoughts are racing, jumping from one thing to the next with no break. Sometimes it feels like we're living on autopilot. Wake up, work, handle a million things, try to rest, but deep down, we're still tired. And the craziest part, that's become normal. You might not even remember the last time your mind felt truly calm and light. You're not alone. A lot of people are going through the same thing. And what most don't realize is that this mental exhaustion, this constant anxiety, it doesn't come out of nowhere. Little by little, we build up tension, stress, responsibilities, until eventually our minds start crying out for help. But what if I told you there's a simple practice, free, accessible, and often underestimated, that could start changing all of that? A practice that doesn't require any experience, no gym, no fancy equipment, just you, a pair of sneakers, and 30 minutes of your day. Then no, I'm not exaggerating. In the next few minutes, you'll understand why walking could be the first step to transforming not just your body, but more importantly, your mind.
The idea here is simple, straightforward, and maybe more powerful than you think. In the next parts of this video, you'll find out how walking for just 30 minutes a day can ease anxiety symptoms, boost your mood, improve your focus, and even help you sleep better. All without medication, without extreme effort, and without having to completely change your routine. But there's more. You'll also understand why it works, backed by scientific studies, how to get started, even if you think you don't have time, and what can happen to your body and mind when you make this simple habit part of your life.
Ever feel drained halfway through your workout? I used to struggle with energy and slow recovery. Then I found this fast-acting nitric oxide booster. It increases nitric oxide by 200% in just 20 minutes. Just mix, drink, and get moving, so simple. I noticed better circulation and more stamina almost instantly. If you want quicker results, this is a game changer. Try it now and feel the difference in your next session.
Walking might seem like just another form of exercise, but when done consistently, it becomes a quiet and incredibly effective form of self-care. And the best part? Anyone can start, including you.
Have you noticed how being tired all the time has started to feel normal? And I'm not talking about physical tiredness, like after a long day or a bad night's sleep. I mean a deeper kind of exhaustion, like your mind is always overloaded, even when nothing major is happening. The truth is, modern life has pushed us into an overwhelming pace. You wake up to your alarm in the middle of a sleep cycle, check your phone with your eyes barely open, and your day already starts with notifications, deadlines, pressure, and non-stop thoughts. There are so many tasks, responsibilities, and worries that your brain barely gets a chance to breathe. We're constantly surrounded by stimuli. The buzzing phone, the urgent emails, bad news, endless comparisons on social media, it all adds up. And the result? A worn-out mind. A body that's still functioning, but with no soul behind it. This silent overload affects our mood, our sleep, our memory, our productivity, and slowly our mental health starts to wear down. But because this exhaustion doesn't bleed, doesn't leave visible scars, we ignore it, until one day it screams. The scariest part? We get used to it. We keep going, one day at a time, hoping that the weekend, or the next vacation, or some random holiday will magically make it better. But here's what no one tells you. That cycle isn't going to break on its own. The good news, the way out might be simpler than you think. Because sometimes what we need isn't more time, more productivity, or more effort. It's less mental weight. It's finding a pause, a daily moment of breathing space that works like a reset for your mind. And guess what can give you exactly that? Walking.
The idea that walking can improve your mental health might sound way too simple, almost too good to be true. But when you look at the science behind it, the story changes. Walking isn't just a light form of exercise. It actually triggers a series of processes in your body that have a direct impact on your mind, and it starts happening within just minutes of movement. When you walk, your brain starts releasing chemicals like endorphins, dopamine, and serotonin. Those names might sound a little technical, but you definitely know how they feel. They're the neurotransmitters that regulate your mood, reduce pain, boost pleasure, and create an overall sense of well-being. In other words, they're the body's own natural medicine. Studies show that a 30-minute walk can significantly raise the levels of endorphins in your bloodstream. That's why so many people say they feel mentally and physically lighter after a walk. But that's just the beginning. Research from Stanford University has shown that walking activates areas of the brain linked to creativity and clear thinking. At the same time, it reduces activity in the amygdala, the part of the brain connected to fear, stress, and anxiety. In other words, walking calms the mind and sharpens mental clarity. Another study, published by Harvard Medical School, reinforces that regular walking can be just as effective as medication in mild cases of depression. That's because walking doesn't just create a chemical shift in the brain, it also breaks the cycle of rumination, that habit of looping through the same negative thoughts over and over again. Walking also stimulates the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain responsible for reasoning, decision-making, and emotional control. Over time, this ongoing stimulation helps improve emotional balance and your ability to handle stress. And you know what's even more interesting? These positive effects show up even with simple walks around your neighborhood. No need for long distances or intense effort. In other words, you don't need to run a marathon to feel the benefits. You just need to move. Move to release what's been stuck, to unlock your thoughts, to create space in the middle of the mental noise. Science has already confirmed what many people feel firsthand. Walking is a powerful tool for taking care of your mind. And unlike many treatments, it comes with positive side effects, which we'll talk more about in a bit. But before we get to that, let's look at how this practice can actually show up in your daily life, how it starts to reflect in your emotions, in your behavior, in real, noticeable ways. Ready?
If the science so far has made one thing clear, it's that walking is great for your mind. Now it's time to understand how those benefits actually show up in your daily life, in your emotions, your way of thinking, and even how you relate to others. Let's start with your mood. When you walk regularly, especially outdoors, your body becomes better at regulating stress hormones like cortisol. That means situations that used to leave you feeling anxious, irritated, or tense start to feel more manageable. It's not magic, it's biochemistry combined with habit. Now let's talk about anxiety. You know that feeling of a racing heart, short breath, and thoughts all over the place? Walking helps calm all of that down. Just moving your body sends a signal to your brain that things are under control. It's like your nervous system says, "We're safe, we can relax now." And here's one of the most underrated effects of walking: mental clarity. So many people say that after a walk, even a short one, their mind feels lighter and their thoughts are more organized. That's because walking reduces activity in the areas of the brain linked to overthinking and boosts blood flow to the parts responsible for problem solving. In fact, many great thinkers and creatives have said their best ideas came while walking. Steve Jobs, for example, was famous for holding walking meetings. Walking also improves your sleep quality. And good sleep isn't just about rest. It's key for stabilizing your mood, avoiding emotional ups and downs, improving memory, and making better decisions. And finally, there's one emotional benefit that might seem small but makes a huge difference: the simple feeling of taking care of yourself. Setting aside a moment in your day, even just to walk in silence, sends a powerful message to your brain. I matter. And that does wonders for your self-esteem, your sense of control, and how much you value your own health. In short, walking is a simple act, but it touches deep layers of our well-being.
If you've made it this far and you're thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but I barely have time to breathe, let alone go for a walk every day, then this part of the video is for you.
This is by far the most common objection, and honestly, it makes total sense. A lot of people really do have packed schedules. Work, kids, school, house chores, traffic. It can feel like 24 hours just isn't enough. But here's a little challenge. Is it really a lack of time, or is it a lack of priority? Because if you stop and think about it, we do find time to scroll through social media, watch a show, reply to messages that weren't even urgent, and all of that can easily take up more than 30 minutes a day. Walking doesn't have to be a big event. It can fit into your day in simple ways. Take your dog for a walk and extend the route a little. Get off the bus or train one stop earlier and walk the rest. Walk while listening to a podcast, a study audio, or even your favorite music. If you work from home, use your breaks to walk around the block. The key is realizing that it's not about having time, it's about making time. And once you start feeling the effects, a clearer mind, a more stable mood, better sleep, it stops feeling like another task and starts becoming something you actually look forward to. Because in the end, what you gain is more energy, more presence, and even more productivity. In other words, you invest 30 minutes and get double the return. Alright, so you understand the benefits and you're convinced that walking can really help. But now a new question comes up. How do you actually turn this into a real habit? The first tip, start small. You don't need to go out and walk for an hour on the first day. In fact, you don't even need to start with 30 minutes. Start with 10. That's right, just 10 minutes. In the beginning, what matters most isn't the duration, it's the consistency. You can also use a mental trigger to help. For example, every time you finish lunch, put on your sneakers and walk for 10 minutes. Or, right after you wake up, go for a walk around the block. When you tie walking to something that's already part of your routine, it's easier to stick with it. Another great tip, prepare everything ahead of time. If you plan to walk in the morning, set out your sneakers, clothes, and headphones the night before. That way, you reduce the chance of getting lazy or wasting time deciding what to wear. And here's something else, make the experience enjoyable. Walk while listening to a playlist you love or a podcast that really interests you. That makes the moment more enjoyable, and over time, your brain starts to associate walking with something positive, not just another chore. Now, if you hit a low energy day, and trust me, it will happen, remember this simple rule. It's better to walk for 5 minutes than not walk at all. The key to lasting habits isn't doing something big every time, it's showing up in small ways consistently. If you can, track your progress. Write down how long you walked or how you felt afterward. Seeing your own improvement is powerful motivation to keep going. That kind of positive reinforcement really works. And lastly, listen to your body. If you're feeling more tired one day, slow down. What matters most is understanding that you're building something long-term. It's not about racing against the clock. It's about creating space in your life to take care of your mental health with lightness and consistency.
Beyond the physical and mental benefits, walking can also be a powerful moment of reconnection with yourself. In the chaos of everyday life, we often lose touch with our own emotions and thoughts. We spend so much time on autopilot, not really paying attention to how we're feeling or what we truly want. But when you walk, especially outdoors, you get a chance to step away from all that noise. The sound of your footsteps, the breeze on your face, the connection with nature, it all creates a kind of internal quiet. And that quiet is essential for tuning in to what's going on inside of you. So many people tell me that during a walk, they're able to sort out messy thoughts, find solutions to problems that once felt impossible, or simply let their mind unwind. That moment of presence, just being there with your body in motion, helps ease anxiety and stress. It creates a sense of peace that's hard to find in busy, noisy, overstimulating environments. Whether you're walking in a park, down your street, or even inside your home, what matters is giving yourself the space to reconnect. Walking becomes an intentional pause, an act of self-care that goes beyond the physical and reaches the soul. Nothing is more motivating than seeing someone who was in the same situation as us and managed to turn things around.
I've heard so many stories of people who started walking without expecting much and ended up completely changing their lives. And the best part? No fancy equipment, no gym membership, just the willingness to move. Let me tell you one that really stuck with me. Anna, a friend of mine, spent years struggling with anxiety. She worked in an office, always mentally overloaded, and barely slept. One day, she decided to start walking for 20 minutes near her home at the end of the day. She didn't think it would make much of a difference. But within a few weeks, she told me she felt calmer, lighter. Her sleep improved, and little by little, the anxiety gave way to moments of peace. Walking became her personal time, a breath of fresh air in the middle of the chaos. Then there's Pedro, who, after turning 50, noticed he was getting tired more easily and had less energy. He started walking early in the morning, and soon enough, he felt more energized and motivated. He even got into the habit of inviting a group of friends to walk with it, which turned into a moment of connection and support. These stories show that the secret isn't in how far or how fast you walk, it's in being consistent and staying committed to yourself. Walking can be the first step towards something much bigger, taking care of your mind, your body, and your life. If these examples inspired you, know this: you could be the next one with a story to tell. Drop a comment and let us know. Do you already have a walking habit? Are you thinking of starting? Or if you already walk regularly, share what benefits you've noticed.
After everything we've talked about, it's clear that walking goes far beyond just physical exercise. It's a way to care for your mind, to relieve stress, improve your mood, clear your thoughts, and even reconnect with yourself. Walking is a simple, accessible habit that can fit into your routine, no matter your age or fitness level. It doesn't have to be anything big. What matters is consistency, the commitment to give yourself that moment of pause. So if today you're feeling mentally tired, stressed, or just looking for a gentle way to feel better, how about giving walking a try? Start small, go at your own pace, and enjoy each moment. And here's a special invitation. How about picking a time, putting on some comfy shoes, and taking your first steps today? Just 10 minutes at your own rhythm. Then come back here and tell me how it felt. I'd really love to hear about your experience. And if you enjoyed this video, share it with someone who could use this message too. Walking can change lives, including yours. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more health tips. There's a new video every week to help you take better care of your health. See you next time.